are live recording this. As you can see, I'm not in my normal location. I am Mama Pam, aka Pamela Dobson of SMRF International Interactive Ministry, where we read the Word of God 7 minutes every day so you do not have to read. You can set your timers to 7 minutes, reading from the King James Version of the Word of God, 2 Chronicles, the 3rd chapter, and it reads, Then Solomon began to build the house of the Lord at Jerusalem in Mount Moriah, where the Lord appeared unto David his father, in the place that David had prepared in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. And he began to build in the 2nd day of the 2nd month in the 4th year of his reign. Now these are the things wherein Solomon was instructed for the building of the house of God. The length by cubits after the first measure was 60 cubits, and the breadth 20 cubits. And the porch that was in the front of the house, that length of it was according to the breadth of the house, 20 cubits, and the height was 120, and he overlaid it within with pure gold. And the greater house he chiseled with fir tree, which he overlaid with fine gold, and set thereon palm trees and chains. And he garnished the house with precious stones for beauty, and the gold was gold of Parvaim. And overlaid also the house, the beams, the posts, and the walls thereof, and the doors thereof with gold, and graved cherubims on the walls. And he made the house holy. He made the house the most holy house. The length whereof was according to the breadth of the house, 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 20 cubits, and he overlaid it with fine gold, according to amounting to 600 talents. And the weight of the nails was 50 shekels of gold, and he overlaid the upper chambers with gold. And in the most holy house he made 2 cherubims of image work, and overlaid them with gold. And the wings of the cherubim was 20 cubits long. One wing of one cherub was 5 cubits, reaching to the wall of the house. The other wing was likewise 5 cubits, reaching to the wing of the other cherub. And one wing of the cherubim was 5 cubits, reaching to the wall of the house, and the other wing was 5 cubits also, joining to the wing of the other cherub. The wings of these cherubims spread themselves forth 20 cubits, and they stood on their feet, and their faces were inward. And he made the veil of the blue and purple and crimson and fine linen, and wrought cherubims were thereon. Also he made before the house 2 pillars of 30 and 5 cubits high, and the chapiter that was on the top of each of them was 5 cubits. And he made chains as in the oracle, and put them on the heads of the pillars, and made 100 pomegranates, and put them on the chains. And he reared up the pillars before the temple, one on the right hand, the other on the left. And he called that the name of that on the right hand Jachin, and the name of that on the left Boaz. Now, moreover, chapter 4. Moreover, he made an altar of brass, 20 cubits the length thereof, and 20 cubits the breadth thereof, and 10 cubits the height thereof. Also, he made a molten sea of 10 cubits from brim to brim round in compass, and 5 cubits the height thereof, and a line of 30 cubits did compass it round about. And under it was the similitude of oxen, which did compass in round about. 10 in a cubit, compassing the sea round about. 2 rows of oxen were cast when it was cast. It stood upon 12 oxen, 3 looking toward the north, and 3 looking toward the west, and 3 looking toward the south, and 3 looking toward the east. And the sea was set above upon them, and all their hinder parts were inward. And the thickness of it was a handbreadth, and the brim of it like the work of the brim of a cup, with flowers of lilies, and it received and held 3,000 baths. He made also 10 lavers, and put 5 on the right hand and 5 on the left, to wash in them such things as they offered for the burnt offering. They washed in them, but the sea was for the priest to wash in. And he made 10 candlesticks of gold according to their form and set them in the temple, 5 on the right hand and 5 on the left. He made also 10 tables and placed them in the temple, 5 on the right side and 5 on the left. And he made 100 basins of gold. Furthermore, he made the court of the priests and the great court and the doors for the court, and overlaid the doors of them with brass. And he set the sea on the right side of the east side over against the south. And Hiram made the pots and the shovels and the basins. And Hiram finished the work that he was to make for King Solomon for the house of God. To wit, the 2 pillars and the pommels and the chapiters, which were on the top of the 2 pillars, and the 2 wreaths to cover the 2 pommels of the chapiters that were on the top of the pillars, and 400 pomegranates on the 2 wreaths, 2 rows of pomegranates on each wreath to cover the 2 pommels of the chapiter which were upon the pillars. He made also bases and lavers, made he upon the bases, 1 sea and 12 oxen under it. The pots also and the shovels and the flesh hooks, and all their instruments did Hiram, his father, make to King Solomon for the house of the Lord of the bright brass. In the plain of Jordan did the king cast them, in the clay ground between Succoth and Zeredath. Thus Solomon made all these vessels in great abundance, for the weight of the brass could not be found out. And Solomon made all the vessels that were for the house of God, the golden altar also, and the tables whereon the shewbread was set. Moreover, the candlesticks with their lamps, that they should burn after the manner before the oracle pure gold, and the flowers, and the lamps, and the tongs made he of gold, and that perfect gold. And the snuffers, and the basins, and the spoons, and the censers of pure gold, and the entry of the house, the inner doors thereof, for the most holy place, and the doors of the house of the temple were of gold. May the Lord add a blessing to you, the hearer, and me, the reader of this precious and sacred 7-minute read of the Word of God. Time at 7 minutes. I see someone looking in, not sure if that's Tim or not. God bless you, whoever you are. I'm not at home. I'm out of town in another state, but we're still coming forth with the Word of God. If the Lord lays upon your heart to give a donation, please do. $ Mama Pam 23, $ Mama Pam 23, or paypal.me/Pamela Dobson, paypal.me/Pamela Dobson, and or you can go to my page, www.7minuteread.com. There's a safe donation button on that page. God bless.